Now let's move into the importance of homework. And the discussion of homework, the mention of homework can be somewhat discouraging to some people. And I understand that. Homework is not something that's necessarily desired. It asks for more effort. And it may not be comforting to hear that that hour in session or 45 minutes, whatever it is, isn't enough. But the idea with homework is trying to approach it with the same sense of importance as we do the session itself. We understand the session is a great opportunity for insight. It's where we do a lot of our learning. It's where we learn new skills or we refine skills. But if we treat this like a workout and we take the approach of incorporating homework, if you came into session and you did 10 or 15 sit-ups, and then you came back the next week and you did 10 or 15 sit-ups, and you came back the next week, if there was nothing happening between session, our expectation for change is pretty low. And it's easy to be motivated in session. It's exciting. We get a great opportunity to give so much attention to what we care about, to change in life. But the true change comes from the rest of the week. This is 1 hour. You've got 6 days and 23 hours without us. So to emphasize the importance of homework, we can talk about some of those CPT homeworks we'll encounter frequently, some of the stuck points that tend to come up regularly. One of the common stuck points is, I can't handle this. And this pertains to maybe treatment itself. It might relate to many aspects of our lives. We want to start to approach these from the mindset that we will in CPT, that we will in treatment. We're starting to challenge these. We're asking, is there some degree of all or nothing thinking here? Is there some extreme or exaggerated aspect of this? You can hear that specific word, can't. I can't handle this. It's very extreme. There's no wiggle room. There's no gray. And in this, we start to ask for gray. For example, session 1 of CPT. If you decide to go that route, your provider will be talking most of the time. It's a ton of information. It's a lot of psychoeducation, and they'll be involving you. They'll be asking you a lot of questions about, all right, does that make sense? Does that resonate with you? Do you see where I'm coming from here? And they'll be wanting to hear about your life. But your role in that moment, in that session, we're asking you to be an active listener. We're asking you to really just try to be there and take the information in. If we're saying, I can't handle this, and that pertains to all 12 sessions, that might seem a little more accurate. If we're saying, I can't handle this, and we're pertaining to just this one session, then we can start to digest it a little bit better. We can ask you about those first 10 minutes. All right, can you come in here and sit here while I talk? Can you listen to information? Absolutely. It's something you do regularly. All right, can we feel some discomfort for a few minutes? Absolutely. It comes up within our lives often. And we're starting to chip away at that belief. We won't get away from that belief immediately. It might change to something slightly more balanced. I can handle this a little bit, or maybe I can handle this, or I'm starting to think I can handle some things better than others. But you can hear the change there. You can hear the shift in the rigidity. Another belief that comes up often is, I won't get better. And this I hear regularly in people that may have been in treatment for a while. Maybe they're not new to therapy. And it makes sense. You've put in a lot of time and effort. And you may have made some progress. You may have had some regressions. And with that, we're asking you to focus on some very specific aspects of treatment. The evidence-based nature. If you're someone that relies on data, there's a ton of data behind these. There's a ton of clinical studies. There's a ton of research that supports these efforts and supports this very structured approach. We'll ask you to start incorporating that. Do you use data in other areas of life? Do you use it in your diet? Do you use it in your finances? Do you use it in any information you share with friends or family? And we try to see how maybe we apply one aspect of thinking in one area to another. I won't get better. You can hear the extreme nature there again. Won't. We're asking for you to basically prove it. We're saying, all right, we know there are times in your life we can look in other areas where you have grown, you have gotten better. Is this maybe one of those areas? And what do we mean by better? Can better be a slight improvement? Can better be spending time around someone that usually the relationship is distressing with? Can it be being more intentional in our relationships? We need to define this term too. If better is getting to a point where we have absolutely no distress, we know we won't get there. And we don't want to get to that point. Some of these emotions have tremendous function. Anxiety can motivate us. Guilt can show us that we need to change our behavior to some degree, or it's important to us. Listen to these emotions, but also understand what these thoughts are saying. Another common thought that we approach very early in treatment in CPT is, I can't trust anyone, or I can't trust you. And that's fair. That comes from a place of not knowing someone. At the end of the day, I or your provider you meet with in that first session, they're a stranger. They're someone you don't know. But we can start to look at the data, the evidence in your life. You have likely at least a few people that there is some degree of trust. And then we start to ask you, where did that come from? Did you trust them innately at the beginning, or did they have to earn that to some degree? Do they have to show you that you could give them small pieces of information about yourself, you could disclose, you could be vulnerable, and they were there for that. They were welcoming, they were comforting. They didn't take advantage of those moments. That tends to be how we build that trust. We need to define what trust means to you. It may mean something very different to me, or to other providers, or to other people. We want to understand what trust is and how we can start to get there. In defining it, it may mean for you sharing an emotion, getting a validating response, maybe having your boundaries trusted, saying that you don't want to share something and having another person listen to that. We can make progress with trust as long as we understand where we're trying to go. And then we're trying to just slowly chip away. Maybe I can trust this person in this hour. Maybe I can trust them in this environment. Maybe I can trust some. That's where that change starts to happen in the beliefs, and then we start to see the change happen in our symptoms.